Blue Heavens, Tuesday Teaching, Episode 45. Insights and updates from our Eden Park Paranormal Session with George Remus.
This is Cosmo. Chug-a-chew. Chug-a-chew, y'all. Chug-a-chew in it. Chug-a-chew. Cosmo. Chug-a-chew. Chug-a-chew.
You're on repeat, mofo. You silly.
I told Laura I was going to mess with you. Chug-a-chew. How the fuck are you? This is my favorite line, dude.
It's a good rhyme. It's a good rhyme. You're a good rhyme time. I guess I should actually see if we're live, because that one day we were not. We were not one day.
Dude.
And then we were, and then we weren't. Okay, I see us. And I see you saying, dude. That's how I know it was real laugh. You crazy coot.
I'm a well-to-do, y'all. I'm a well-to-do.
I was reading that Fox Sisters book, and they called someone a well-to-do. I was like, what in the crap? It was like the 1860 something. So I guess that was like a thing in the 1800s to early 1900s, was someone was a well-to-do. It's crazy. All right, so I guess we started. So I am Angie. Hello.
I'm Michelle.
I had to get Cosmo out of there because that was Cosmo.
Yeah, he wasn't going to accent.
Yeah, Cosmo's ready. We are Blue Heavens. We are sisters, and we channel ancient divine beings from two councils of thought. Lazarus is a divine council that teaches love and light, while Lucian is a divine council that teaches the shade and within the illusion. And together, these beings help us be brave enough to face the shadows within us, so we can remember the light that's actually underneath that gooked up ball of nasty. And so we can be like happy people living happy lives. Woo! That's a mouthful. This is Tuesday Teaching, episode 45, and we are doing insights and updates from our Eden Park Paranormal Investigation with George and Imogene Remus. And it has been a mind F, and I see Destiny here with a hi friends and a red heart that's going like one of those like expanding hearts. It's like, I get you. I like it. So I get you back. Right? Hell yeah. So I want to start with one of the biggest mind-blown things from all this experience, and that is that our dad liked this. All right. That our parents watched this and liked this. Okay, granted, they have never watched any of our stuff. They would not. They didn't want to see Michelle Channel. They said it was creepy and they didn't like it. So they said they were willing to watch it. So we sent it to them, and I'm going to read you what he said, because he has never said anything like this ever, never.
Nope. Never.
And the reason that they wanted to watch it mainly was because, I'm looking through yours, was because they knew who George Remus was. Mm-hmm. So since they knew who he was, I think they wanted to kind of validate what in the crap are his kids doing. Okay, so he put, we watched your Eden Park video and we were blown away. It was very professional and interesting. I didn't get freaked out with Michelle channeling, but I will always be concerned about your safety. The next time we get together, we will discuss this, and both of you, great job, 2 hearts. Get out of town.
I was totally blown away by that, because even Dave says, are you kidding? And I'm like, oh my God, because you know how he get when we say words, and George is saying a lot of words.
Yeah.
And he wasn't I was sitting there like, whoa, man.
I think it proved the guides we have in spirit has our back. We are very protected. Mm-hmm. And I think that came across with a bully and such a dominant energy like George, for me to be able to sit there as he's telling me these things and I'm not being harmed. I think that really proved to him that like they're safe. Like, again, if you're going to say you're the devil, maybe say it in the presence of someone That's not like the devil. I mean, people think Archangel Lucifer and Loki are like devils, and you're saying it's just like you're saying, hey, I'm one of them. And they're like, no, you're not.
Well, I like on the video, this is Michelle. We figure we might as well. So this is Michelle. So I like on the video, it's just funny, you put that, you go, most people would jump at a spirit saying the devil, but we laugh at it like what? We know, because we know the truth. That's funny.
Right.
That's funny.
Right. It is, because it would scare people, but we're just like, nah, brother.
Oh, so okay, they want a t-shirt. All of them. Okay, so which one? Okay, so Loki's going to tell you the one they want on the shirt now. This is
Right.
Loki. We want a shirt that says "No bitches, bro." I want that shirt. Emily says that. I'm like, that has to be on the shirt. No bitches, bro. I love that.
I watched it with Scott and Elliot, and Ellie looked back at me. She's like, Mom, why didn't you put that? And I was like, because it was funny. Like, what she said was funny, and I wasn't expecting it. It was funny. And then Emily watched it, and she's like, Mom, why did you say I hate you with it? And I was like, I don't know. It's just what it felt like. It felt like you just hit us with a no bitches, bro. I don't know. You did.
I loved it. I loved it myself. It fit perfectly as he was leaving. She goes, "No bitches, bro." I thought, man, I want that as a shirt.
It would make a great shirt. It was perfectly timed. It really was. She's our little comedic genius.
Yes, she is very, yeah. So I guess we will tell you about, and this Lucaeus, since this was your life.
Yeah.
This is Lucaeus, yeah. So yeah, so Michelle's been watching Boardwalk Empire. George Remus makes an appearance on season 2.
Yeah.
And the first episode, he's talking to Al Capone, and he even says, George Remus doesn't like, and he's talking in the third person. And Al Capone goes, "Well, who's George Remus?" And then he had another mob boss say, "That's George Remus." And Al Capone goes, "Well, what?" And did it again. And Al Capone says, so he does, but so I asked George, that part of me, I asked him, why didn't you speak in the third person when you were being channeled? He said it was stupid. He said it was stupid. He didn't need to yell at you channeling like that.
Wow.
He didn't have to say George Remus hates you. He said it was stupid. He said he just did that to mess with people because he knew he could mess with people. He's very smart.
Yes.
He was very smart, and he thought it was funny to mess with people because Al Capone even made it look like, we know what the hell and everything. But so talking about validation. So because George was, like Imogene called him daddy. Sounds like in the 20s, all the women called their men daddy. So that wasn't uncommon. And they had songs in the 20s that say how dumb women are, stupid. They had comedians go, "Oh, my woman's so stupid, she likes to be slapped by her man," and on. It was just terrible. So what he said about Imogene slapping, that was pretty typical of a 20s man. That was pretty typical in that prohibition area. It sounded like women were just whores. They weren't considered anything. And that's pretty much what it was. And Boardwalk Empire is loosely based on Nucky Thompson, which was an actual person. And loosely based, but they have different, but he's like season 2. And yeah, it's really, but that validates women were not highly valued, and they would be slapped down, and man was in control, and it was just, so the Imogene and that made total sense when I do not remember that life. I don't remember that life. But yeah, so George was a bully. But everything I read on George, though, it doesn't have anything. He was violent. They said he kept out of the mob. It's like, no, he was killing. So nobody knew he was killing. So there's another validation. Yeah. And I think too, with your dad watching it, it validates that was George. Because he actually had been researching George Remus, and if your dad saw an EBS, he would have said, "I don't think that was George."
Yes, he would have.
He would have. And Imogene, if he didn't think that was Imogene, he would have said BS on that. Yeah. And even her mom even says, "Who's Henry? Who's Henry? Is it a friend? Who's Henry?" And that's been the thing too, because they didn't mention all the other stuff. Nothing
Right.
else was mentioned. And usually a spirit will only remember the most painful things, and that was what they remember. But I think you had a theory which makes sense to me, because you can manipulate spirits, can be manipulated. Zach Bagans has actually mentioned that, and different mediums have mentioned that a spirit can be manipulated, and we were manipulated, I would
Yeah.
say there,
I
because
would
we have somebody we will channel later on, we will validate everything. But we think Angie has a theory, and we found who says he's Henry's dad. But the spirit's also very confused. So we're not going to.
Well, I have something to share.
Okay, well, I apologize.
Right. So when we were at the gazebo and Henry came forward,
Mhm.
I felt like I heard another man say, "That's my boy." But George kept saying it was his, so I dismissed the energy because there was so much going on. We have my kids talking, and there's people coming by, and there's channeling, so I kind of just ignored it. But Henry didn't feel like he belonged to either of them. So I watched our video, and then I watched the after, and I came to the conclusion that George was just a liar. And he kept talking about how it's a sin to kill kids and stuff. I feel like he killed a kid, or he drowned the kid, or maybe the kid just drowned. And I feel like George just took the kid and said it was his and Imogene, just to torture the kid and Imogene, and possibly now the father of Henry, because it just didn't make sense. And there is no, and I wanted to add, I couldn't find that he kicked Imogene's head in. I think he wanted to, and I think he plays it in his mind that he did, but it sounds like he just shot her. So I think that was another thing. But I felt like I had blood on my head, so I don't know if he made me feel like that, or if that actually had happened and I was tapping into her.
Well, this is Lucas, and talking to Imogene, she does have something he did. Yeah. But this might have been a past thing. Maybe he did this before, and maybe it traumatized her in the head, because watch Boardwalk Empire. That's pretty typical of what they do. They kick in the head. That's pretty typical. Not to a woman now, to a man, but not to a woman. But it might have just left her some kind of headache, because Emily said it. Trevor even said when Imogene came through, he got a headache, and he felt something coming down his head too.
Yeah. Okay.
So there has to be something more to that than if it's not even being shown. But
Yeah.
when we see her, she had blood. She noticeably had blood.
Wow.
And like right in here.
I would assume that it would be written down somewhere, like all these observation stuff. None of it said that. It just said that she was shot in the stomach at close range, and like he said something to her. You'd think if he kicked her in the head that they would have said something. So I don't.
Right. Well,
So
I'm not. I'm not denying it.
I do think he probably kicked her in the head previously, and
he
I feel
probably
like
had.
Probably wished he would have done it then. But it sounds like there were kids and people screaming that I think he stopped what he would have continued to do had there not been people screaming.
Right. Well, do you want me to bring the dad in?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you want me to do this? How do you want me to do? You want me to just have him start talking, or you want to ask him questions, or how do we want to do this?
Let's have him come forward, and we'll tell him that we have cards and have him pick how many, and let's see if we can. I'll use the cards to ask questions for validation.
And then this way you get to see, everybody gets to see how the cards actually work. And we have not channeled this spirit. He came out. So George, so just so everybody knows what's happening right now with George. So he's not on the park bench. We found out a lot of things about George. He's a terrible spirit. He was basically bullying all the spirits. It just wasn't, it was a lot of other spirits, and he would take on their personalities, because you can do that. It's energy. You can do that. Well, so he had sold his soul. George had sold his soul to the devil, he said, to Lucifer. Lucifer typically does not honor that, because it's the bogus, right? He honored it in this case because of how he treated Angie and the after effects. Michelle getting nightmares and Angie getting nightmares. I feel the girls were getting some kind of nightmares too. Laura was getting nightmares. Dylan was getting nightmares. Dave was so everybody's getting nightmares.
And I think he was going to hurt Dad.
Yeah, that was the other one too. And remember, there was a picture your mom said of her bear dropped. I don't know if that was George. I didn't tell her that was George. Yeah. Yeah, that was George. But I didn't tell them that because but he's nowhere. He can't hurt nobody anymore. He's in hell. Lucifer does not typically do this, but he said you got to learn from your shit. So he's in a cycle of his own BS. And basically, Loki took the whatever good, because he has some good. So he took the good, but not the slappy part that he wanted to do. And all that's been transmuted into the light. So what will happen? He'll leave that realm, the hell that was created, and he'll be moved into the light, but all that energy will be transmuted into love. And the negative, all transmuted into the light. That's what happens. And that's what's going to happen to George. Well, he's not there now. So we have spirits coming forward. Frankel came forward looking for Henry. He's very confused. So when he comes in, he may not remember. He couldn't remember a lot of details. Like what I told you last night, he changed it on me. So I go, okay, so what's happening?
Okay.
George took a lot. Cosmo said he talked to Frankel. He says George took a lot of his memory because he was trying to and he's messing with Imogene and messing with Frankel. But I will bring Frankel through just so people understand who he is. And maybe, and if anybody picks up anything on appearance or whatever,
yeah,
that is fine too. So Angie, feel free to ask him questions.
Okay.
I'm not sure where this is going. So it's the first time we've ever channeled Frankel.
Hi, Frankel.
Hello.
How are you?
I don't speak your language. I'm trying to.
That was my assumption.
Don't understand language.
Okay.
I am trying to. Cosmo is in the back helping me understand the cipher.
Okay.
So if I don't answer immediately, I'm just trying to
adapt. Yeah.
adapt. This is.
Yeah, I want to pull some cards that should help explain part of your story. So how many cards would you want me to pull for you?
Oh, that is interesting. Two, me and Henry.
Okay.
Me and Henry would be two. And then three with the Trinity. The three for the Trinity.
Okay, Frank, well, let's see. Okay. Well, I get help left behind and stuck. So
I wanted help. And he wouldn't let me come forward. In life, I couldn't think right. I got told I was stupid.
okay.
I was told I was stupid. I got slapped a lot, hit by my mom, hit. I met a woman. She had my son. It was a joke. She says a joke. It was a joke. And she married somebody else and took my son because she said I was too stupid to raise. Lived in a barn as shed, and she fed me scraps. I stayed because she said she did not want me hurt. I was slow. She didn't want me to be put somewhere, but I'd go and wander in the woods, and she'd get mad because she said Henry would follow. I knew he was my son, but she would try to tell me he was not. I knew he was my son. Her and her husband wanted to go out, and very once in a while I got to take Henry with me. but he had to call me uncle. That was difficult, but I allowed because I get to see. I had a habit of drinking, the habit of the drink. I liked my drink. I liked my drink. It made me forget. My head didn't hurt. I drank a lot. On that day, I took the drink with me. I promised that I didn't have a drink. I promised I didn't, but I did. We go into the woods because I love the woods, and Henry knew I liked the woods too. So we went and played. We usually would play Indians and cowboys. We would play because he loved it. I was like a child too. As he said, I love that my uncle is like a child and we can play. And he loved that. So we were playing that. And then I was drinking the drink and I must have fell asleep, and I wake up and Henry's not there and I'm deep in the woods. I knew I'd get in trouble because I can't find him anywhere. And we were deep in the woods. I went and I scrambled. I could not find him. I never did find him. Got to remember, I had the drink with me, and I knew if I go back without the boy, but she bit me anyway. She hit me anyway. It didn't matter to me. She hit me, but I was more heartbroken over. I go back after a bit. I can't find him. I go to tell her, and she said, it does not matter. That's just one less mouth we got to feed. He was stupid like you anyway. She said that now that was over, then I didn't need to be fed and taken care of anymore. She said, you can go now. And they called me stupid. I didn't know what to do. So I went and I just kind of wandered around because I didn't know how to do anything by myself. I didn't know how to do anything. I could not read. I could not do anything. I just wandered around. People throw stuff at me, call me stupid. But I had a nice lady come to me. I don't remember her name. I apologize. She was the first person telling me I wasn't stupid. And she took me in she called it a boarding house. There's a lot of women there that were dressed, or not dressed would be the better, not dressed. And she was like in charge of all of them. She had a name, don't remember what she called, but she was very nice to me, and she gave me free room and board and took care of me.
Wow.
And she allowed me to drink. She knew that I drank. She knew the drink was my thing, and she'd give me my drink. And I lived the rest of my days with these women. Became like my sisters. They were very nice to me. They'd pat me on the head, and they were very, very nice to me. They said I was like having an adult child around, so I liked that. They knew I wasn't going to hurt and touch because I didn't know. I had a child with my wife, but that was it for me. I didn't know she said it was a joke. Henry's mom, it was a joke, she says. And I never talked about Henry to them because that was my secret. And on Henry's birthday, I would cry. And one fateful day, I willed myself on his birthday because I wanted to go find him. And I woke up unfamiliar grounds. I didn't know where I was.
Wow.
And I happened to see Henry, and I was very happy briefly. And then that nice lady, that really nice lady with the blood on her head
Yes.
and on her stomach, seen her, and she was very scared. And Henry ran to her, asked did she need help. I walked over because people called me stupid. I didn't know how to help. And she said she didn't know what was going on. I told her I think she's in the afterworld. She screamed, and she'd loop her death a lot. She'd loop her death a lot, and I'd watch her loop it. I tried to always make her smile, and she would smile on occasion. She'd smile. And I'd sit on the gazebo with Henry with her. And when she wasn't in her loop, we would play. She would tell stories. She told the best stories. And she said that we were like her boys. She'd call us her boys. And she said, these are my boys. And she said, Henry's a very sweet young man. And she said, so are you. So we were both her boys. She said, you are my boys. She says, I miss my daughter, but you're like my boys. And then I remember she was going through a loop. I just see a presence come at me, seen me sitting at the gazebo, and he sort of hurting me like I was used to being hurt. He saw inside my energy.
Right.
And he knew I was weak, man. He knew I was a stupid man, and he knew that. He said nobody talks to her. And I wanted to grab my boy because he's my son, and he made me very happy. He said, that's my son. You cannot have my son. I said, he's my son. And he started telling me it was not. He told me, you go over here. And he would take his energy and it would hurt. He took a lot of here. I was already stupid, but he took more. He would tell he would have, so you girls, when you were there, I was trying to get the attention, but he wouldn't allow it. He stands in front and he won't allow. He thinks it was funny that I could not, that I stupid and I would not talk. He said, you are, and he called me names. Cosmo said, don't say these names.
And
He say a bunch of things. I wanted to go so bad. And I saw Loki and I didn't know what to do because he would cover me up. I know Loki saw me. I know he saw me. He was very nice. But I knew to keep quiet because I was, that electric shock he would do would hurt bad. Didn't know you could hurt in the afterworld, but it hurt. But he was good to Henry. He said, if I'm good, he won't hurt Henry, his son. So I didn't want Henry hurt. He would trip a lot of the kids in the fountain. I was trying to get your girl's attention. He was tripping people in the fountain. That's why I'd walk on the bench there trying to show you that he was hurting people in that particular spot. He was hurting people there. And like you said, he was tripping. Your message and Cosmo was so nice, and he allowed me to understand your message. I didn't understand. I can't read words, but Cosmo deciphered for me, and he told me what you said, but it wasn't Henry. It was other children and other people, and he was hurting people there in that spot because he wanted them in there because he can trap them more in there. That's why he would have them fall in there and he could trap them. They became like, he called them his slaves and things. They would do his bidding, he says, and trip other people. You girls got, the nice lady left and I saw my son leave, and I was happy, but I wanted to go too. He wouldn't let me. I was trying to tell you, help. I have a message. he knew I was there and he was ignoring me. He knew. You seen he knew I was there. You saw me.
Yes,
You
I
saw me.
heard you, but then I felt like something just covered up and it got dismissed, and I just dismissed it.
Yeah, he dismisses me. He told me I was stupid and I can stay there. He when they left, I got hurt more. I got hurt more. I didn't have that nice lady to talk to no more. Uh, the protector girl left. I had nobody to protect me. I
Do you want to go home? We can pass you into the light now. We have Destiny here that can help us out. If you want to go home, let's just let you pass. Go get Henry.
well, Henry, can I get Henry?
I
Because
would,
Henry's already in the light. He's already there.
and if you go into the light, he should be waiting for you.
Can I see that nice lady that was on the?
I'm sure she'd be waiting for you too.
Can I be your guide as well?
If you would like to, absolutely.
But here is a thing. There's my rule, though.
Yeah.
I didn't like my name. I was named after my dad. I didn't like my dad.
Okay.
Since George was a bad man and he took my memories and tried to live my life, I want to take the name George to make it a better name. If he can take my memories, I'm going to take his name and I'm going to make it a better name. Because he took my identity. He took my son. He don't deserve his name. I will take his name now. But I want to be bad. I want to be bad like that. I want to pass my head before I leave.
Yes.
So if people my head hurts really bad, my chest hurts, my hip hurts, right side from where I was kicked a lot. I my spine, there's something wrong because I walked like a crooked. My head always hurt and they always called me stupid. I flinch a lot. I as well am an aspect of Locaeus. I'm as well an aspect as of yes of him because
You're the opposite. You're the polar opposite of George. And I think he knew that, and I think that's why he did everything he did to you.
yes he hurt me bad. He told me that I smelled funny, that my energy. He knew he could see that I was beaten by my mom and Henry's mom. And he said, I did not deserve to be a dad if I couldn't keep track of my child because of the drink. And he always yelled at me and called me more stuff. And I thought it was better that I just lived because it was the same abuse, but worse. It was a male, and men scare me because my dad was a terrible, terrible man. He was awful. And but I just don't want to name Franco because I'm named after my dad. I'm a junior. And he would say he was often ashamed that I took the name because I was stupid. So I would like to just go, but I want to be a guide. Just understand that I am not a smart man. Just know that I'm not very smart, but I can help talk because I understand abuse and I can speak for that nice lady.
And I think other people that are being hidden in a corner that aren't allowed to speak, I feel like you will call them out for us.
I will. I promise. I
Yes.
promise. I promise. Well, I'm the gentleman that she kept describing in the white Sunday best. I prayed a lot. I prayed a lot. So I always said my Sunday best. I only had one outfit. So I only had my one Sunday best. So I always said my Sunday best. I never understood what that meant. I just always said that. Henry thought that was always so funny that I would say that. But yes, I would like to go.
Perfect.
And be a guide. I would like to do that, but call me George no more. I don't want to be Franco after my dad, but I want to take the name George,
right,
to bring good to the name and bring peace to that lovely lady that always sat. Is she at peace now? She don't run in circles anymore. I don't see her run in circles anymore.
She should be at peace. She's probably on the other side to tell you. I think you'll catch up with everybody and then you can come back and tell us how it went.
I would love that. And it would be nice not to have all of the pain.
Right.
And that would, I could maybe understand better. Cosmo's really nice. He tells me what is being, it is, and being in the body, it is, I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah.
It feels, yeah. But yeah, I'm ready to go, and I will just, I guess Loki says I need to exit out.
Yep.
So then and we will pass. Oh,
Yes.
perfect. It was nice meeting you. What is your name?
My name is Angela or Angie.
Angela. I like the name Angela. Oh, I like that name. That's a pretty name.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you,
I
George.
love you. Thank you. I gotta get used to that name, but thank you very much. I see Roger too. I see Roger and Milia.
Perfect.
So they said they're saying the team, but I got to go to the light.
Perfect.
And I think Milia wants to talk after I leave. She said she'd like to talk.
That'd be perfect.
So I'm gonna leave, and Loki's coming forth.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much love to you. Thank you. And thank you for not calling me stupid. Thank you.
No worries. You're very loved. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I'd have known an Angela when I wish I would have known an Angela. I do. You feel like you would have hugged me and took care of me and read me stories.
I would have.
Yeah, she didn't read me stories. She just didn't. But I wasn't beaten, but I was never read stories and things. They just called me a little child. I got fed and I didn't. But you would have read me stories, and I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can do that later. Maybe you can read some stories. I would love to hear stories.
I can do that. I can do that.
Thank you very much. Tell this one here to read some stories too. She's very nice too. She's very, very nice.
She is.
She's very nice in that. I'm not sure about all of this here, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring Loki. Thank you. I just haven't, I'm not used to people being nice.
It's all right.
This is Loki.
Right.
Okay, let's just get him. I'm gonna call him Frankel till we get him into the light.
All right.
And then when he comes, he'll be George.
All right.
So, because right now I need to dress him as Frankel.
All right.
And he's not liking that, but we need to do.
Yep.
So,
all right.
All right. So Angie, he wants you to go ahead and guide, and I'm going to push him to the light, and he wants you to talk because he loves your voice.
Okay. So Frankel, if you turn around, there should be a light there waiting for you. It should feel loving. You should feel the familiar energies of Henry and Milia and Rogers there before the light waiting for you. Just go into the light. All your answers, all your healing, all that stuff just comes to you after you go into the light, and you could come right back because time's not a thing on the other side of the light. And we wish you well. I'm sorry for your time being trapped and stuck, but I'm thankful that you get to go into the light. And thank you for sharing your story and your sensitivity. It was beautiful.
Yeah. That is love. This is Loki. That's left me with so much sadness.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part of my son went
It
through all of
explains
that.
a lot of things. It explains why Michelle saw like a kid with no face. it explains so much.
Yeah, he when he was leaving, he was so scared of that light.
Yeah,
He was so scared.
that was rough.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'll bring Milia now. She's wanting to come forth.
sorry, Miss Baby, I didn't mean to run you over. I didn't mean to run you over.
Hi, Angie. This is Milia.
Hi, Milia. How are you?
I'm very lovely today. Very lovely. I'm glad that we got him on the other side.
Me too. I wished I would have paid more attention to that feeling, but I was so distracted by George that day that I didn't pay attention. And to hear that those cards were representing what Frankel wanted is just kind of very heartbreaking.
Well, just to let you know, I came in much later. I didn't even know there was a Frankel.
Wow.
I had no idea there was a Frankel.
Wow. Huh.
I didn't. I had no idea.
Huh.
George had all. By the time I got there, George had all the spirits scared. I didn't even know there was a Frankel because spirits can do that. I didn't know there was a Frankel. Had I known there was a Frankel, he would have walked with me to the light. And I take a bunch of responsibility because I should have been there to help him. I was more concerned over imaging. I never understood where Henry never said he'd point to George and say, that's daddy. But he would always say, daddy. So how was I to know?
Right.
And Imogene was convinced that was her son,
Yeah.
and she drowned him. And I thought, as well as a medium, this is what I was picking up. She would show a drowning. That's what I thought, because you girls, I would put my hands up, I would do that, and I would communicate as such. And I always picked up drowning from her and something on her head as well. Even if it wasn't mentioned, I never saw it mentioned either, but she's always doing that.
Yeah.
And then when George passed, I was not trying to be mean, but I was alive and I was happy about it, like finally. But being a medium, I should have understood I didn't know where he'd go.
Yeah.
I knew there was no hell. I knew that, but I thought, well, maybe if Hitler can go to the light, he'll go to the light. But when I passed, he was there. And I never, even as a medium, I walked around that whole area. I never picked up there was a Frankel. But there's a lot of spirits hiding. So I'm sure you go back, there's going to be some spirits hiding, and you'll have George now. He wants his name as George, and we'll find him, because I think there's more hidden in Eden Park. I didn't know. I know George was bullying a lot. But he would trip him. He would trip him into that Mirror Lake. Yeah, he would, and then that other water too. He would trip him over there too. Because Dylan, he said he felt people around that water too. Because Henry would always talk about the ducks, but the ducks are on the other side. Always talk about he saw kids fall in there. So George was everywhere on that area, just tripping people into the water. He had an obsession with drowning. I guess that was quicker for him, I guess. You picked up on that. He was tripping people. That's what I suppose Frankel was trying to say. And I apologize. I did not see Frankel, and I'm so sorry to him.
Not your fault. I think it's crazy how much George was able to manipulate the afterlife. That one soul could do that much is crazy. But
there's a lot.
I like, at the end of the day, the ones that want to go home get to, and the ones that don't have to. I think this is a great example of that free will that we hear that we have. I think this shows it. You can go into the light or you can stay and suffer. It's your choice.
Absolutely. Lucifer wants to say something, so I'm going to allow Lucifer, but maybe sometime I can tell everybody what the afterlife. I know when I was a medium, I understood, and I always followed the Fox sisters, by the way. They were my heroes. And this is funny.
Yes.
This is funny to me. I always followed the Fox sisters. I
It
got
would have
into
been
what I was doing because of them.
wow.
I was so fascinated, and I knew I had the touch of that insanity. The one always said it was called insanity, like a crazy insanity. And I'm like, oh, I got that insanity, and I'm very happy about that. You resemble the one, she resembles the other. And whoever is watching this, she's a medium too. She has a lot of energy. Whoever, I feel that energy. She has a lot of this energy.
Yes.
So yeah, she was, yeah, goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yes. I since she's got a lot of energy. I don't know her name, but she's got a lot.
Her
You
name is
know,
Destiny.
yeah, that's a beautiful name.
It is.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Perfect. Well, I'm gonna bring Lucifer, and he's going to explain. I guess he said some stuff. I
Perfect.
apologize about Frankel. I apologize. But I would like to go back to Eden Park. We bring George, the new George, and we
2.0 George.
bring the better improved George. We bring Frankel George.
Yeah.
We'll bring him. But
Yeah.
I will exit and let Lucifer come forth. And that it was a blessing to be here. Thank you so much I love being one of your guides. We're preparing for Spring Grove.
So excited.
There is a bunch there. There's a bunch. We're trying to go through watching Loki work. It's maddening to watch that man work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the god of chaos work apologetic. He to me looks like a man.
Yeah.
He says no, do not say that. He does not like that word.
Yeah.
But watch him work. It's amazing to see how wonderful, and he's so safe with spirits. So he's so particular with you girls.
Yes.
He is very particular. If you knew everything he did to protect these girls, he's very protective. George wasn't going to come forth. And by the way, I did love the way you talked to George. That was my favorite to watch. He was getting so pissed at you. He was so angry. And you said everything I wanted to say to him. You said it, and I was so pleased about it. I left because I knew he would badger me. I knew I was going to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it. I would have stayed if I knew Frankel was there. I would have stayed. Yeah. I didn't know there's other spirits hiding. I just assumed they were out, and I grabbed them all. I didn't realize.
Right.
So there's a lot I didn't even know. So maybe that is a thing for other mediums. It's nice to have a spirit. You're going to have a spirit now that can find the ones that are hidden.
Yes.
And Cosmo, bless Cosmo. I love him. He's my hero. When he took Henry.
Yes.
That the look on Frankel's face, it killed me. Because I could see a man standing there, but George was blocking. But see, I didn't know who that was. Right. I did not know. But I dismissed it because I always would see things in front of George. I dismissed it. Yeah. But that look on that face was just sad. But I didn't, but you got to remember
right.
There's just too much when you're a spirit, you don't get a lot of thinking until you're in here. And then
right.
Starts, but the spirit is just like one dimensional. You're not thinking. You can barely remember your name.
Right.
When I was in here, I happened to remember my husband would always compare me to a flower, Milia, flower. I go, oh, Milia, and I had to remember my name. Wow. So it's being a spirit, but I'll bring Lucifer. I apologize. I talked a lot in life. My husband always told me, shut up, breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I love my book clubs. I talk all the time. So I will bring Lucifer and apologize for Lucifer for me.
All right.
This is Lucifer. Oh, she likes to talk.
Yeah, it's cute. She likes her book clubs.
She loves her book clubs. Yeah. Her and Loca's, it's been. And the rest of me, here I am just going, okay, so ask me how, not Frankel George, but ask me how George enjoyed me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's hear about this.
So, all right, this was great. So you remember you predicted in the video you say in the video, you go, well, he'll just get bored and leave. And Lokea says, well, no, he'll just wait for the other spirit.
Yeah.
It was funny because that was a prophecy. And it was great. It was so funny because he said he was the devil.
Right.
And you laughed. It upset him. Of course, it upset him. And he didn't understand the laughter. Loki got pissed because he said, well, who's Loki? Well, Loki showed who Loki was to him.
Yeah.
Loki
Yeah.
made sure he knew what the devil was, and he
Right.
went all on him. And so he saw me. I just come around there, and he saw me. You know, he's sitting there on the park bench, you know. He looks at me, and he goes like that. And he goes, do I know you? And I said, I'm the devil. Like that. I go, I'm the devil. And I could make my voice low. Yeah. He said, he goes, I'm the devil. And I go, so I never do it. I can be an archangel, but I can be a demon. So I became a demon.
Yeah.
I put full demon. He saw the fire. He realized he was talking to, I bought the devil, but Lucifer.
Yeah.
And he said, I sold my soul to you. Okay. But I realized he sat there and I said, well, call me when you want to take me up on that offer. I don't take souls, by the way. I don't take souls. But I thought it was amusing. He was still in that mindset, and he's still the devil. So after just a little bit, he was getting bored. He'd wander. Nobody was walking around. He was getting bored. And he goes, Lucifer. Loki says, I think you're being summoned. Yeah. So I told him, what did he want? He goes, he was getting bored. Could you go to the light and be a guide? I said, well, sure, but it has to be up to the girls, but not trusting old George there. But I try to give breaks to people. And then all you said in the message was, I'm feeling that dread energy. And I thought, okay, we're not doing that. So immediately I put him and create him a hell. And I said, I am going to honor that, your soul. I am going to honor that. I don't usually honor that. But how he talked to you, and then looking at Frankel, and then I was not happy. Wasn't happy. So he's there currently. So there's where George is. So, but in the future, I can't force the spirit to go. We can't force it. But what we can do is bubble them. I can bubble them. Because it scared George to death. It scared him. So I'm going to just put the fear into the ones that they like to put fear into others. I will put the fear. I can do that now. Because then they will want to go to the light.
Yes.
They will want to go to the light and that's not abuse. They're going around scaring people, and they don't need to be there walking around. But I can scare them and move them to the light.
Yeah, it's like what they're doing to others is just going to be done to them for them to see it, so they don't want to repeat the pattern anymore. It's like, okay, you want to do this, now you're stuck on the receiving end of it until you tap out.
Right. And there's at Spring Grove, because me and Loki are very particular, we got 3 of them. And so just so you know what's going to happen, Angie, and we're still, so we got Anita. She's from the Light of the Forever Love.
Okay.
We have the Mist of the In-Between.
Okay.
I'm still getting the name. Me and Loki still haven't got the name yet. So we're still waiting for that name. They don't remember their name.
Right. They don't remember.
We may have to address a name to them, but they don't remember their name. But we'd like to know their name for validation in the future. Right. And we got Mackenzie from the Shadows of the Illusion. He's a very interesting character. And he is about as bad as George.
All right.
Warning you ahead of time.
Yeah, I figured there was going to be another one.
There will be.
It might be a recurring theme of George's.
But what it shows people is that you girls are safely channeling from the light to the ones that are kind of, and then you're going to hear Loki address the top.
Yeah.
Cosmo's going to address the middle, and on the bottom is mine. I told Loki I'd rather him stay at the light because he's very protective, like a father. Then Locaeus is in with both of you girls. He is in here, and he's acting like the gatekeeper. So
Yeah.
make sure nothing can stick while you're channeling. That's why you girls can channel, because there's an empty, like there's emptiness. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's emptiness.
Yeah.
But yeah, October 9th happened for a reason.
Yeah.
So, and that you've had your own experiences, which makes you girls very accessible,
Yeah.
which we won't talk about. But both of you've had your accessible. And Emily, too, by the way, she's going to really open up. So we're going to very protect her, because she's going to be very susceptible, because she's going to want to start channeling. She could channel. And I think it would be good for her, but monitored, because remember, you girls didn't have none. That we don't want any accidents like October 9th happening to her. So I like to make sure she can safely, because Trevor wants to channel too. I don't care if they channel, just they need to be very protected and be able to know discernment.
Yeah. Yes.
So I want her to know discernments as before. But we're going to make sure she's very protected, because Mackenzie's going to, and Ellie needs to not say anything to Mackenzie. So, because it was funny with George. It was hilarious with George. Oh, we all laughed at when she said something, because he when he came out, he goes, "Who the fuck was that?"
Yeah, I just hear a woman's voice, blah blah blah.
We and Loki were, until he said, I'm like, wow, he's just. And Locaeus has actually moved up, because George being gone, and now Frankel's in the light. Locaeus can move up. They were both aspects of Locaeus. I was so surprised. Like,
well, when Frankel came through and he started talking about stuff, I thought he seems like the complete opposite of George. And I thought, I wonder if he's another Locaeus. And it was. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. So
Destiny said she felt the head pain of Frankel, and that we need to start a channeling school.
Absolutely. Well, do you want to see Frankel now? He's from the light now. He's out. He's actually wants to come forth again. Sure. He's actually he wants to come forth, not being. Just to show people how fast it is.
Yeah, I've been happy to do this, so that's perfect, because I thought we kind of missed out on that opportunity at Eden Park to show that they can come right back. Like, time's not a factor. They could be gone for thousands of years and come right back in a second after they were just here. It doesn't matter.
Right. Well, Trevor has a spirit named Darby. It's very quick. She fought to go into the light. We got her to the light. She came back just as fast.
Yeah.
And it surprised her. She's like Trevor's spirit guide. Darby's wonderful. Darby and Loki are sarcastic. It's hilarious, actually. She don't like me. She says, "You're too dry and too sarcastic. We can't." All right, I understand. So let's bring Frankel, or George, as he wants to be known as, which I love that he's taken the name George.
Yeah.
At least he didn't sell his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't honor that. So you can go forth and do this. We and Loki don't honor that. So go ahead.
Easy.
Okay, so let's bring him back.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Frankel.
Hi.
So what has changed in you? You seem happy. Tell us about it.
My head don't hurt anymore. My head don't hurt. I'm so happy.
Good.
I feel all of this emotion that I didn't feel walking in that, and the great light. I didn't know Jesus was real. I always thought he was not real, because I always heard my mom saying there's no way he was real. And I would get smacked when I would say Jesus, and she'd smack me. And I say I can smile about that now. That doesn't bother me. But he is very real. He's very real. He seemed so surprised. I go, I couldn't talk. I was so happy. He says, "I greet all of my lambs. I greet all of my lambs." I was so happy. And Henry was playing with him. It was so nice. I got to see the nice lady from the gazebo. She was so nice.
Perfect.
I am so happy.
And you have Henry back?
I have Henry. He's with me. I was going to make and talk here, and Jesus is making his rounds. I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so excited. I don't know. I'm just all over the place, so happy.
I feel it. And I'm so glad because I felt such a sadness in you 5 minutes ago when you were here before you went into the light. So to feel this complete opposite, I love it. And I hope you guys feel it. You, how could you not? It's you radiate it. You're radiating it.
I asked where my wings were. I asked him where are my wings, and he says, you don't have wings. You don't need wings. He showed me that I don't have that
Yeah.
I get to float. He says, you don't need wings. He goes, they have wings. And that I was in the same, they're so beautiful. Archangel Michael was real. Oh, he's beautiful. He's so light. And but he's not mean. My mom and dad said he was so mean. He's not mean. He's got this huge sword.
Yeah.
It looks like Marcus's. It looks like Marcus's sword.
Yeah.
I like Marcus.
Me
like
too.
I'm all excited. Well, I'm going to bring Lucius back. I'm going to go see where the teacher's going. I'm so excited to see. I don't know. He says he takes all the new souls and walks them around. I don't know where I'm going. I'm so happy.
You'll have to come back and share what happened with you.
Okay? I will.
I want to hear about this walk with Jesus and Henry. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, there's more than just Jesus. There's so many different lights.
Perfect.
I love it. There's so many nice people, and they love me. They said I'm hilarious, and I love that. I don't know. I never was called any of this stuff. Never. I'm just so excited. I asked if they would teach me how to read, and he said you don't need to know any of that stuff. And I go okay. And I asked where my food was, and they said we don't eat here.
Yeah.
Okay. So but I'm going to go. I'm excited. I will talk about it again. I will. I'm excited. So I'm going to go run with Henry now. I'm happy.
Perfect.
And he is real. Jesus is real. He's not fake. He is real. He's real. And this is real cares. I love that. Jesus is real.
I can't with that. That is just like
that part of myself.
To see something be in such sadness and suffering and so quickly be brought so much joy and happiness is just like a
I know. I
love that we can be rescued.
And he wanted, you know why he said there's a Jesus? Because he heard Travers say yesterday he wished people knew there was really a Jesus. And that's why he wanted to make sure everybody knew. His mom and dad always said there was no Jesus and smacking. But he absolutely, you should see him in the light. He was looking for Archangel Lucifer. And Jesus says, no, he's around, he's energy, and he's excited. He's just all over. He even said, he goes, my name is George now. And he said, you can be whatever name you want to be. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. It is just,
No.
That's what you girls are doing. You're making a difference in spirit's existence. And he didn't have an existence except on that park bench.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And George taken over. So now we got Cosmo, we got Milia, we got Roger, and we got George. And this George is wonderful. We got this George. So we got different spirits for different things. So Spring Grove's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially around Dracula's castle.
Yes. So we got the Creeper Reapers. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited. And so Trevor's already got impressions and things like that. So I told him I'm going to record his impressions because he can't go, but I'm going to record his impressions of what he's picking up and that. So I told him we could add his impressions. He already got some. And he said he's got a feeling that it's the opposite, that a woman doesn't like men.
Good.
I'm kind of thinking that's what you're going to have. She walks around that Dexter mausoleum. She does not like men.
Yes. Yeah, I picked up on that too, but from reading something, like there was two sisters that did something about the first body that went in there, and there was a fight between the sisters, and it seems like they are very yeah.
Yeah. And I know the story of the wolves that's there too. We know
Perfect.
about the wolves and that, so we can, as I'm curious about that, so we're excited about Spring Grove and
Too.
excited because Loki and Lucifer, and we're going to come, and we're also going to this time, we're going to welcome the light. We're going to go to the light of the forever love, and in the middle, and then we're going to get the dark ones last.
Yeah.
We'll get the dark ones last because I want to give the light, you know, or we could start with the dark first, get them out of the way, and then the light can come forth, which I think we might just do it like that. Because if we start with the light first, we're going to have a lot of hidden. I think we need to start with the dark.
Yeah.
And if anybody has a suggestion, please, this is only the second investigation. So if anybody has any ideas, we're open to ideas.
Yeah, we just want to do it differently and new with the intention of helping the spirits. This is our main goal here. You know, evidence is cool, but what we're really looking for is to help the spirits. I thought like I wanted to bring spirit gifts to the spirits because we do spirit gifts to the living. And they said, no, your spirit gift is showing up to pass them. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. So we still do spirit gifts for spirit, but we're helping them by passing them. And how cool is that?
Well, what you can do with spirit gifts, you place them in your location where you're at, in your house. You can have spirit gifts there, and they see it. You got to remember, it's energy. They know and they recognize it because they're already calling out to you, girls. They're already calling out. They already know who's going to be there. Loki's got the full beef on all of the spirits and make sure you girls are going to be safe, along with Scott. Oh, and David said if we need a male medium, he'll be the male medium. Dylan wasn't comfortable doing it, but David said if they want a male medium, he'll pass. He'll pass.
Perfect.
So perfect. That way we got that. So, but yeah, I can't wait for this one's going to be.
Yeah,
we're going to go to some very interesting ones. There's some kids are going to be down at this one, and I think we're going to find our children at this one too.
Yeah,
I think. Or it's going to be the asylum we go. We're going to go to an asylum.
Yes, I keep seeing an asylum. I'm just excited about it. I'm glad we're doing it. I am too.
Yeah, the asylum I'm looking forward to. Trevor goes, asylum? I said, I've been there before.
Yeah.
It's not going to bother me. I probably find another aspect of myself there, so.
Probably. All right, well, I got to get ready to get my peeps, so I guess let's end this. This is great. I'm glad it went like it did. It's perfect.
Well, let me get Marcus and that. Hello,
Marcus.
I'm going to go be visiting George, the new George, later. He loved me so much. He would stay right beside me. He wouldn't pass, but I would sit with him, and we had such long conversations. And he said, "What is your sword? Can I touch it? I'm not allowed to touch your sword." And I had to reassure him it wasn't going to hurt him, but he was told he was not allowed to play with sharp objects. I just loved him so much. He was just amazing. And he goes, "Why are you blue sometimes and you're not sometimes? I'm confused." And I would be blue. He would turn around and look at me, and he would crouch over like that. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not." So I would come across, but I'm going to visit him. I love him. He's amazing. I can't wait for him to be on our journeys forward. But he was so excited there was a Jesus. He came and told me there was a Jesus.
In case you didn't know yet, he's spreading the message, man.
He's told everybody about Jesus. I love that. So if we have any doubters, we have George to tell us. The new George.
New George. 2.0 George.
2.0 George. So I like to thank the spirits, the most great divine love, and Jesus, because we are told by George that there's a Jesus. And he's so excited. So we appreciate Jesus welcoming Frankel, now George, into the light, and he gets to be with Henry and the nice lady on the gazebo. Hopefully he gets her name soon. He likes to call her the nice lady from the gazebo. I like to thank all of the wonderful spirit guides, all of the wonderful guidance we have, the great light. I like to thank the girls for allowing us to channel so freely and we without their egos in the way. We appreciate Angie deciphering us because sometimes nobody understands us and it can get confusing. So we appreciate Angie deciphering for us because that makes it so nice. We appreciate all the spirits that we are going to be passing, and we cannot wait to be finding spirits and writing information, and maybe even writing some kind of little book or something about what we're finding out to help other mediums, other channeling. And what, Destiny, you said about channeling school, actually, Trevor has asked about that as well. Trevor has asked about that. So safe channeling. So that's kind of where Destiny said that, because I feel she could as well.
Yes.
So I think, we do that, Destiny. You're definitely on board on that. So because I feel she's going to be teaching that too. She's on the ball.
Yeah.
So so I feel that can be a thing. We can do that. So so much blessings to everybody. We love that everybody watches us. Thank you, Destiny, for joining, and thanks for everybody going to be joining on that. And I'm going to pass this on to Angie, the priestess, my priestess, whom I love very much. And I'm going to pass it over wherever she is.
I don't know where I am, you guys, but we love you guys very much. And we're very thankful that you joined us for episode 45. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what you think about all this stuff. It's so crazy. And Jesus is real. And I so love that. And thank you, George 2.0, for the beautiful, just to go from sadness to this just beauty and joy. I love it. I hope you guys feel it and you embrace it and you allow it in your lives, and that you have a fantastic day no matter where you are. We love you. We'll see you on the next thing.